Millions of Lincoln pennies pass through pockets every day, but only a few hide rare details collectors search for. A tiny error, a specific year, or a small mark can turn the simple penny into serious money. Would you notice it before it's gone? The 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny might look like one of the most ordinary coins in American currency to the casual observer, but hidden among the millions produced that year are error coins so rare and dramatic that they attract serious collector attention and astonishing prices at auction. At first glance, a 1982 penny seems unremarkable, just another copper-colored 1-cent piece with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the wheat ears or Lincoln Memorial on the back. But when mint errors occur, what was once a coin worth a few cents or dollars can suddenly become a treasure that collectors will pay tens of thousands of dollars to own. Most 1982 pennies fall into the common category. In circulated condition, normal 1982 pennies without errors are typically worth only face value 1 cent. Even uncirculated versions, without any remarkable characteristics, usually bring only a few dollars from collectors who want a perfect example for their date and mint set. The reason for these low values is simple. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of them, and most are relatively easy to find in everyday pocket change or coin collections. These ordinary pennies, even in perfect condition, rarely stir excitement because there's nothing unusual about them. But once you start looking for mint errors, the story changes dramatically. One of the most sought-after and valuable error types for the 1982 Lincoln penny is the double die obverse. This mistake happens early in the production process when the die, the piece of metal used to strike the coin, receives a second impression slightly misaligned with the first. When that die is used to strike pennies, the design elements on the coin appear doubled. On a double die 1982 penny, the doubling can often be seen on the word Liberty, the date, or the lines of Abraham Lincoln's bust. An experienced collector or a sharp magnifying glass can make these doubled features apparent. The difference in value between a standard 1982 penny and a double die error coin is astonishing. A normal penny might be worth a couple of dollars in uncirculated condition, but even circulated double die examples can command hundreds or thousands of dollars. For example, a lightly circulated 1982 double die penny might sell in auction ranges around $450 to $1,200, depending on how strong and visible the doubling appears and the overall condition of the coin. Collectors prize those mid-grade examples because they showcase dramatic errors without being overly worn. As the condition of the coin improves, so too does its value. Uncirculated double die pennies, with original luster and sharp detail, become highly desirable. In auction settings, these coins have sold for prices upwards of $10,000, $15,000, and even into higher tiers as buyers compete for the best preserved specimens. At high-end auctions, certified examples graded at superior levels have reached extraordinary price points. Some of the rarest and most pristine 1982 double die pennies have brought results ranging from $62,755 to as high as $150,500 when offered in major numismatic auctions. These high prices reflect a combination of scarcity, condition, and collector demand, especially for top-graded examples that few others can match. It's not just double dies that put value on the map. Other error varieties also draw attention and can bring significant sums in specialized markets. Off-center strikes are one such error. These occur when the coin blank isn't properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. Minor off-center errors might sell for modest amounts, perhaps $20 to $75, but more dramatic off-center examples, where a large percentage of the design is missing yet the date remains fully visible, can bring $200 to $600 or more depending on severity and eye appeal. Clipped planchet errors are another type that collectors look for. A clipped planchet happens when a portion of the metal blank is incorrectly cut before striking. The result is a coin with a curved or straight missing edge that's unmistakable. These clipped errors, while not as dramatic as double dies, still carry value and usually sell in the range of $30 to $150 or higher for premium uncirculated pieces. Rotated die errors can also be found among 1982 pennies. When the die used to strike one side of the coin is misaligned with the other, the coin's obverse and reverse don't line up properly. A rotation of 90 degrees or more can be striking to the eye, and collectors may pay extra for these oddities. Depending on the angle of rotation and condition, These errors can sell for $50 to $300 or more. There are also rare pennies struck on defective planchets or planchets with unusual metal compositions. These errors may produce coins with odd coloration, weak strike areas, or rough surfaces. Depending on how noticeable and attractive the defect is, values can range from $50 to several $100s, particularly among collectors specializing in planchet and minting anomalies. Throughout all these error types, condition remains the most important factor in determining value. Two coins with the same error type could have very different price tags if one is worn and scratched while the other is crisp, clean, and visually striking. That's why many high-end error coins are sent to professional grading services, where they are evaluated and encapsulated with a grade that helps buyers and sellers agree on fair value. Auction results show just how dramatic these value differences can be. Normal 1982D pennies are abundant and inexpensive, but rare error coins, especially exceptional double die examples, have sold in venues where serious collectors compete fiercely. It's in these arenas that prices have soared into the $62,755 to $150,500 range, creating headlines and turning what once were common coins into prized numismatic treasures. For anyone holding a handful of 1982D pennies, taking a closer look is worth the effort. With the right magnification and an eye for detail, you might spot doubling, off-center impressions, or other anomalies that instantly boost a coin's value. While most pennies will turn out to be ordinary, the potential of finding a rare error coin keeps collectors searching through boxes, rolls, and estates even today. At the end of the day, the 1982D Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something that seems ordinary can hide extraordinary potential. Whether it's a double die worth thousands, or a dramatically rare coin that brings 5 figures at auction, these error pennies remind us that even everyday change can sometimes carry unbelievable value. What was once pocket change can turn out to be a remarkable piece of history and a stunning numismatic find. The 1993 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin that most people never think twice about. It was produced in enormous numbers and circulated widely throughout the United States, blending into everyday life as spare change passed from hand to hand. To the average person, a 1993 penny looks completely ordinary, with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Most examples of this coin are extremely common, and without any special characteristics, they are worth only their face value. Even in uncirculated condition, a standard 1993 penny usually sells for just a few dollars at most, making it one of the least exciting coins for casual collectors. But hidden among these ordinary coins are rare minting errors that completely change the story. These error coins are what transform the 1993 Lincoln cent from everyday pocket change into a highly sought-after collectible. The most desirable and valuable errors from this year involve double dies, off-metal strikes, and dramatic striking mistakes that occurred during the minting process. These errors were never intended, and because only a very small number escaped the mint, they are now prized by collectors who specialize in rare varieties. A normal 1993 penny without any errors is simple and predictable. The lettering is clean and sharp, the date appears normal, and Lincoln's portrait looks exactly as it should. These coins are abundant, and their value remains low because supply is extremely high. In circulated condition, they are usually worth just 1 cent. Even brilliant uncirculated examples, unless they are perfectly preserved, rarely command more than a few dollars. There is no scarcity, and without scarcity, there is little demand beyond basic set collectors. Error coins, however, tell a very different story. One of the most notable errors found on some 1993 Lincoln pennies is the double die obverse. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin was impressed more than once during its creation, slightly misaligned. The result is visible doubling on parts of the design, often noticeable on the date, the word Liberty, and Lincoln's facial features. Unlike minor die where true double dies show strong, rounded doubling that is easy to spot once you know what to look for. Even in circulated condition, a genuine 1993 double die penny can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how clear and dramatic the doubling appears. Collectors value these coins because they are visually striking and historically interesting. A worn example might still bring $300 to $800. Simply because of the rarity of the error itself. As condition improves, values rise sharply. Uncirculated double-die 1993 pennies with strong eye appeal have sold at auction for several $1,000s, especially when certified by professional grading services. Coins graded in higher mint state levels with bold doubling and minimal surface marks often attract intense bidding. Auction results have shown prices climbing into the $5,000 to $12,000 range for particularly nice examples. But the most extreme values come from coins that stand out as the very best known. These are error pennies with flawless surfaces, original red color, sharp strikes, and unmistakable doubling across multiple design elements. Because so few of these premium quality examples exist, they generate enormous interest when they appear on the market. In high-profile auctions and private sales, the finest known 1993 error pennies have reached astonishing prices, with recorded results and offers ranging from $51,650 to as high as $135,990 when competition among elite collectors becomes intense. These figures represent the pinnacle of what error collectors are willing to pay for a truly exceptional piece. Beyond double dies, there are other significant errors found on 1993 pennies that also carry strong value. Off-center strikes are one such error. These occur when the blank planchet was not properly aligned during the strike, leaving part of the design missing. A minor off-center strike might sell for $20 to $50, but a dramatic example showing a large portion of the blank planchet can sell for several $100s, especially if the date is fully visible. Another collectible error is the clipped planchet. This happens when the metal blank was improperly cut before striking, resulting in a coin with a curved or straight section missing. Clipped planchet 1993 pennies are popular among error collectors and typically sell for $25 to $100, depending on the size of the clip and the overall condition of the coin. There are also rare cases of pennies struck on the wrong metal planchet. These off-metal errors are especially fascinating because the coin may appear lighter or darker than normal and weigh differently than a standard penny. When authenticated, these errors can bring $500 to several $1,000s, depending on the metal involved and the condition of the strike. Comparing an error coin to a normal 1993 penny side by side makes the difference obvious. The standard coin looks clean, balanced, and uniform, exactly as intended by the mint. The error coin, on the other hand, shows signs of a mistake that should never have happened. That mistake is what creates uniqueness, and uniqueness is what drives collector demand. While millions of standard pennies exist, only a handful of these error coins are known, and even fewer exist in high-grade condition. Auction records highlight this contrast clearly. Regular 1993 pennies are often sold in bulk for little more than face value, while error coins are sold individually, sometimes under intense bidding pressure. Certified error coins consistently outperform uncertified examples, because collectors want confirmation that the error is genuine and not caused by post-mint damage. This certification adds confidence and often pushes prices significantly higher. What makes the 1993 Lincoln penny so intriguing is the idea that something so common could hide something so rare. Many of these error coins were discovered years after the coins entered circulation, found by collectors who took the time to examine their change carefully. This possibility continues to motivate coin hunters today, even though the odds are low. Most 1993 pennies will always be ordinary, but the small chance of finding a rare error keeps the search alive. In the end, the 1993 Lincoln 1-cent penny serves as a powerful reminder of how small minting mistakes can create extraordinary value. A coin that most people would ignore or spend without hesitation can, under the right circumstances, become a highly valuable collector's item. From a face value of 1 cent to auction prices reaching $51,650 to $135,990. These rare error coins demonstrate how history, rarity, and condition can transform ordinary change into something truly remarkable. Most people see a penny and think of something virtually worthless, barely worth dropping into a jar of spare change. But every so often, a penny emerges from ordinary pocket change and reveals something extraordinary. A minting error so rare and significant that it transforms a simple piece of copper into something that commands major attention from collectors. One such coin that has captivated numismatists in recent years is the 2004 Lincoln 1-cent penny with a dramatic mint error. To most people, a 2004 penny is just another penny. But for those who know what to look for, certain error varieties from that year have become some of the most sought-after modern cents on the market. A typical 2004 Lincoln penny, without any errors, is a normal and very common coin. Minted in huge quantities at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, these pennies were used in everyday transactions and have circulated widely. In circulated condition, a standard 2004 penny is usually worth just its face value, 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, a regular 2004 penny seldom brings more than a few dollars from collectors who simply want a perfect version of a common date. Because there is nothing particularly special about a standard 2004 cent and so many exist, demand and value for error-free examples remain modest. That changes dramatically when a genuine mint error is present. Some of the most valuable 2004 pennies are those that were struck incorrectly due to mistakes in the minting process. These errors include misaligned dies, double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and even blank planchets that were struck by accident. Among these, one of the most dramatic and rare error types that collectors hunt for is the major double die obverse or reverse, where part of the design appears duplicated because the die, the metal tool used to strike the coin, was impressed more than once in slightly different positions. This creates visible doubling on the date, lettering, and sometimes even Lincoln's profile. When the doubling is bold and clear, the coin becomes incredibly desirable. The difference in value between a normal 2004 penny and one with a prominent double die error is astonishing. A typical penny that you might find in your pocket is worth next to nothing. But a genuine error coin with dramatic doubling can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. In circulated condition, dramatic double die pennies might command prices in the low hundreds simply because so few exist and collectors actively seek them out. As condition improves, prices climb steeply. Uncirculated and certified error pennies with deep, distinct doubling attract serious collector interest. At major auctions where competition is fierce, these error coins can sell for prices far beyond what most people expect for a 1-cent piece. Some of the best examples of the 2004 double die error, coins with a bold, unmistakable error and beautiful surfaces, have reached auction prices ranging from $44,120 to as high as $128,560. That's right. A coin originally worth 1 cent has soared into 5-figure territory simply because of an error that slipped through the mint's quality control. These extraordinary results tend to occur when a rare coin is in exceptional condition, certified by a professional grading service, and offered to a group of enthusiastic collectors who recognize its scarcity and importance. But doubling isn't the only type of error that can add value. A dramatic off-center strike is another variety that can turn an ordinary penny into a collectible. When the coin blank isn't centered correctly in the press, the design can miss part of the surface, leaving an incomplete image. The value of an off-center coin depends on how far off-center the strike is and how much of the date and design remain visible. Slight off-center errors might be worth $20 to $50, while more extreme off-center strikes, where a large portion of the design is missing, can command $100, $200, or more, especially if the date and mint mark remain readable. Another fascinating error is the clipped planchet, which occurs when the piece of metal that is cut to become a coin is imperfect and part of it is missing. These clipped areas appear as curved or irregular voids along the edge of the coin. Clipped planchet pennies from 2004 can vary in value depending on the size and placement of the clip, but most sell in the range of $15 to $100 or more for larger, more dramatic examples. Other error types include coins struck on the wrong planchet. These occur when a piece of metal intended for one denomination is mistakenly used for another. For example, a penny struck on a planchet meant for a token or another denomination can be extremely rare and interesting. Values for these unusual pieces can vary widely depending on rarity and demand, but often sit well above what a standard penny would bring. Another collectible error type are die cracks and die deterioration marks, where the die begins to break or wear unevenly. These show up as raised lines or irregularities in the design. Most die crack errors are not as valuable as major double dies or dramatic misstrikes, but they still add interest and value. Depending on how pronounced the cracks are and where they appear on the coin, these error pennies might sell for $10 to $50 or more among collectors. What makes dramatic 2004 error pennies so exciting is the contrast with ordinary pennies. A typical 2004 cent might fill a piggy bank with little fanfare, while an error coin can become the highlight of a collection, commanding thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars at auction. The key factors that drive these values are the rarity of the error type, the eye appeal of the coin, and the condition or grade it receives from a professional grading service. Professional certification plays a huge role in the market. When a coin with a major error is sent to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, it is examined, authenticated, and assigned a grade that reflects its condition. A high grade on a dramatic double die coin signals to collectors that the coin not only has a rare error but also is preserved well. This combination can trigger competitive bidding at auctions, especially when the coin emerges in a high grade and is offered to a wide audience of collectors. Auction results highlight just how passionate the collector community can be. When an outstanding 2004 double die penny appears in an auction, bidding can escalate quickly. It isn't unheard of for rare certified examples to sell in the range of $44,120 to $128,560 when multiple collectors recognize its rarity and compete to secure it. These results illustrate not just the monetary value of such coins, but the excitement and competition that rare error coins generate. So, while most pennies might remain everyday pocket change, it's always worth a closer look. Next time you handle a 2004 Lincoln cent, study the date, the lettering, and even Lincoln's profile under magnification. You might be holding something far more interesting and potentially far more valuable than you ever expected. Error coins remind us that mistakes made in the minting process can become treasures in the eyes of collectors, turning the most humble coins into remarkable pieces of numismatic history.